We are speaking with Assemblyman Dov Hikind. Well, you'll still always be Assemblyman, even after you're retired. You'll still be
Assemblyman. You should say
right?
that because I just made up new cards, actually, and it says Assemblyman right in the middle, my name, my personal phone number, and my email. So, absolutely, it's like Senator D'Amato. Forever and ever, it's Senator D'Amato. So
it's like the president, always the president. Right?
Exactly. I wear it with pride.
So here you're entering a new chapter of your life. So what is? I hear through the grapevine that you're opening up an office.
Well, there are a lot of things going on, and the one thing, the common denominator, is being involved on behalf of the Jewish community and beyond more than ever before. A lot of things, seriously, both politically and otherwise, but the bottom line is I've spent my entire life since I was a kid in JDL in the streets of New York fighting for Soviet Jewry, anti-Semitism, fighting for Jewish poor, fighting for Syrian Jewry back then. So I've spent my entire life doing that before I ever even had a thought of running for the legislature. I was involved 10, 12 years in the streets. So, of course, I will continue. We're not going to have an office to deal with constituent services, but we'll be very much out there involved with the Trump administration, involved in dealing with issues nationwide. There's something being formed called a Coalition for a Positive America. It once existed. You could find articles back in the Jesse Jackson period. It's going to be a tax-exempt organization to be involved in fighting racism, anti-Semitism, nationwide and worldwide. I mean, I don't have to tell you what's going on. You can't pick up the paper. You can't look in the internet without something going on, an incident of anti-Semitism, someone saying the most horrible thing about Jews. We Jews hardly register as a percentage of the world population. We hardly register. And it is just amazing how many people out there have such hatred for the Jewish people. Something that is deep inside people. There are many times for many years it doesn't go to the surface. But unfortunately, we are seeing more and more of it. Whether it is Farrakhan, and by the way, Farrakhan is a malicious, vicious anti-Semite. That's not even the issue to me, Zev. You know what the issue to me is? All the so-called good people
who hang out with
him. I mean, only a couple of months ago, 2 months ago, at Aretha Franklin's memorial, I mean, former President Bill Clinton is sitting almost next to Farrakhan. How was that permitted? In a world that we live in, that if Donald Trump looks at someone in the wrong way, they get criticized. Like anything that he does, everybody jumps on him. But you have malicious, vicious anti-Semitism out there, especially on the left, and there's hardly...
They want to focus more on the right than on the left. That's really what's going on. Let's be realistic.
Well, they're not right, they're wrong.
Of course, but it's part of the progressive agenda to look at right, not
so
left.
You know what? That's something we're going to be dealing with. And also, the book that I hope will be published next year by a major publisher nationwide.
ArtScroll?
Well, yeah, right, right. I always joke about ArtScroll. They're great, by the way. They're great. But my problem with ArtScroll is that every great person was born great. I sort of can't deal with that. Like all the Gedalim, the day they were born, they were already Gedalim, and that's not.
No, even when they were cut, and they were good.
Exactly. So, I think young people as well. They don't. I want to know about people who were not perfect. Moshe Rabbeinu was not perfect, right? We know he made mistakes.
That's why ArtScroll didn't write the Chumash. You can tell because the Torah is not afraid to.
And that's why they're not publishing my book.
Okay. So, do you have the title for the book, a working title?
We're working on it.
What else are you going to be doing? You're doing
being involved politically, looking for major opportunities, not anything local, and there are such possibilities.
Congress?
Well, we'll see. Well, Congress is very complicated. There is no seat that someone like me or
The
someone...
Jewish seed has been cut up.
Yeah, exactly. Destroyed. There's no
Absolutely.
chance of that changing. In fact, my involvement on behalf of the Trump administration will not be in New York. I mean, New York is...
I saw you in the White House with the Holocaust,
my
Holocaust
God.
survivors who were there.
Zev.
I saw Joe Stam, your whole group that was
But
there.
Zev, that was one of the most remarkable things. Not my being at the White House, but having 8 survivors of the Holocaust. People in their 90s. There was one man, Mr. Einhorn, who I held his arm for over an hour that night, who went to Auschwitz in 1944 with 7 brothers and sisters. He was the 8th. And mother and father. He was 15 in 1944. His entire family, 7 siblings, mother and father, murdered by the Nazis. You know, he pulled up his sleeve at the White House, and Betsy DeVoe, the Secretary of Education, was talking to me, and I brought her over to the survivors. And you know what this survivor said, 92 years old? He pulled up his sleeve and he said, when I was liberated in 1945, all I had was a number. I had no name.
Powerful statement.
Powerful.
So what are you going to be doing for the Trump administration?
Well, we'll talk. You'll hear about it. You'll see. Look.
So you have book. You're working for the Trump administration.
I'm going to be busier
you
than
have the organization. So do you have time to do a podcast and a radio show?
Yes, that's very
radio show in your future. Or?
No question about it. I think that is very important. That medium, social media. You know, the thing at the White House with the survivors that we put out, the video, had reached 1.4 million views. The power of social media. So that is something we're going to utilize everything to get the message out and to deal with what I think is a very serious crisis for the Jewish community in this country.
As Solomon Dov Hikind, and I still use the title, okay?
Yes.
Good to see you, and I'm looking forward to the next chapter. I want to read all the chapters. And I'm looking forward to the book and the radio show and the organization and everything that comes.
The book is very honest. It deals extensively with sexual abuse, shocking stories, detailed stories. It's going to be very powerful. And look,
is it a tell-all?
Look, the one thing I don't want to do, it's not about embarrassing anyone. It's about speaking truth and learning the lessons that you can never be silent when it comes to people being abused sexually. You cannot do that, period.
Dov, look forward. Thank you.
Zev, always a pleasure.